there's so much fucking light flooding in because there's so much releasing that's been happening. And this light is preparing you to see things in a way that you've never ever been able to before. The appreciation that you have for life is so incredibly different than it once was, because you didn't have this level of love within you. And like, I'm not saying you didn't love before, but this is different. Everything is felt at such an extreme, and it's learning how to balance this, okay? Because when you kind of awaken, it becomes very overwhelming because you're not used to feeling all of this emotion. It's used to being suppressed. So when you actually allow yourself into your heart, it is going to come flooding out, and it is going to be uncomfortable. It might even be painful, but the more that you allow these things to be felt, especially the pain and the sadness and the anger, that is getting transmuted, and it's transitioning into your light, because you're allowing yourself to release all of this. And it's like your light has always been in there. You needed to feel it, to release it, to find the light, because it's been buried beneath. And it's finding acceptance for your pain, finding acceptance for the parts of yourself, and it's setting yourself free. The more you feel, the more you heal, and the more you suppress, the more you feel depressed. Like, I don't know if that's an actual saying. It probably is. It definitely is. But like, I think that right now you're starting to actually feel the light coming in. You're starting to feel love deeply. You're starting to feel happiness deeply. You're starting to feel excited again and happy and giddy. It's almost like feeling things that your inner child might have felt, or feeling ways that, you know, you felt when you were younger, but you never could fully access because of the pain you were feeling. You know, for me personally, I remember when I was really suffering, I actually had these thoughts a lot where I was like, I miss the way I felt when I was younger. I miss feeling happy. I miss feeling like I could laugh at things. And like, I went through a period where I was so depressed that like, I remember specifically thinking, like, I haven't really genuinely laughed in fucking years. You know, maybe like a few times, but it was never like, I don't know how to explain it. I just missed feeling the way I felt when I was younger. And the more I've healed, the more I've started to actually see a different side of me, and actually feel this almost pureness within me again. So I almost had a lot of wounds around love, and now that I've really healed, I feel like I can hold space for unconditional love from a new perspective, a higher perspective, from my higher self. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like for you, you might also be experiencing these things where it's like seeing parts of your old self coming up again. You know, it's a new you, but like seeing, you know, maybe seeing yourself smile more, seeing yourself laughing more, seeing yourself having a good time, seeing yourself feeling lighter. And like, it's because of all the work you've done. And I feel like so fucking many of us are at a point in our journey where it's like inner union is happening with a lot of people, where it's just inner peace with oneself. And when I say inner peace, it doesn't mean that every day's perfect and every day you're just like, no, I'm not saying that. There's days where I'm like fucking exhausted still. There's days where I might feel something resurface within me. But it's knowing how to hold space for that, knowing how to ground during that, knowing how to bring myself to a space of like unconditional love and centering myself so that I don't let it take over, but also acknowledging it so that I can move through it and understand like what's happening. It's like inner peace. The inner peace I feel is because I'm not letting the weight of the world define me. Because for so long I used to think of my trauma as like against me, and it was, but like I'm seeing it was all actually for my growth, for me to reach this point. And like, it took a lot for me to even like say that, because I was so stuck in like victim conscious, where I was just like, why does my life suck? I would just feel all these negative emotions all the time, and like I wasn't seeing beyond it. Like, I couldn't see beyond it. All I could see was the pain right there. I couldn't see any way around it. And now that I've allowed myself to feel it and be like, you know what, I'm not meant to carry this forever. And that was what I did. I thought, well, this was just my personality. Like, not necessarily my personality, but like it had taken up so much of my time, so much of my life, that I felt like there was nothing outside of me other than pain. So I didn't know how to interact with people. I didn't know how to have friends. I didn't know how to feel like normal things. Like, I'm not saying like I was just like in a box, but like I didn't know how to interact in the right ways because all I was experiencing was pain, and I didn't like allow myself outside of that to experience like normal things. So all I thought, I was like, how am I supposed to connect with people if my life is not normal? All I experience is trauma and pain and all of this stuff. How am I supposed to connect with them? What am I supposed to say? How do I interact? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do I just have a normal conversation when I'm just coming from a space where I've just been, you know, like screamed at and all this stuff? You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know how, but now that I found this inner peace and I'm being like, that doesn't define me. That's not who I am. That's what I experienced, and it shaped me. But there's more to me that's inside of me that is not just pain. So now I'm able to connect with people in ways that are deeper, and people that actually understand me now. And it's crazy. And I think that maybe you're also experiencing this, where it just feels like you're no longer letting your trauma be who you are, because it's not who you are. But I hold space for that, and knowing that is what shaped me into the person I am today. But I'm the one that actually shaped me. My trauma broke me down. I rebuilt myself. I reshaped myself. And it's more so finding the strength, and it's like, you're the one that's doing this for you. It doesn't have to define you, but it is a part of you, a major part of you. But you get to decide what you do with it and how you move through it. And I think that you're starting to move through it in new ways, that it's like you're just feeling proud of yourself. And I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of all of us. And the more support that we have, and the more that people acknowledge it, and like me acknowledging this, making you feel seen, hopefully, like, it makes you feel less alone. It makes you feel like, damn, you know what, there's so many of us out there that are going through this shit. And it feels isolating when you're in it alone. That's why I'm so grateful for social media, because like all of us, we're just here all around the world just going through it alone. It's like, we're not. So this space, I want it to be so safe, so sacred, and so understood that nobody fucking feels alone, because we're not. We are all one, and I fucking love you.